Here we are in another Outtech off-grid build. This is a Jayco, so all those Jayco owners out there. This was a conversation we had with the owner of this van about 6 months ago. They're travelling around Australia, and they had probably a DIY battery system that he'd kind of thrown together a little bit. A 3000 watt inverter, a couple of 150 amp hour batteries, one under the bed, one under the seat, you know, all the usual standard Jayco projector equipment, 360 watts of solar. And they just wanted a little bit more functionality and a little bit more usability and a little bit more comfort when they're off grid. So we went through the process of trying to work out whether we could utilize some of their existing equipment. The inverter they had, we couldn't make compliant to the relevant 240 volt standards for various reasons. The batteries were massive in terms of physical size, so they were very awkward to try and fit. Plus we couldn't get more, so they only had 300 amp hour in total, and they wanted more functionality. So we couldn't actually buy those batteries anymore, which is something to keep in mind if you are considering DIY and battery systems and that sort of thing, whether you can get the batteries and get warranty from the battery supplier that you're looking for. You know, the system wasn't put together overly well, and to be fair, he's not electrically minded at all. So they've come to us and we've given them a really nice, sizable, functional system with all of our functionality built in. So all of the EnerDrive suite of chargers as we normally do. We've got 2600 watt inverter, which is a pass-through inverter, as we always talk about. So you turn your inverter on and everything in your van becomes live rather than one or two power points. So we've built this also with the Cymarine system, full solar monitoring, full DC-DC, full load monitoring, the full gamut. After we started the conversation around what they were going to go for, and I did the design for them, they then rang me a couple of months after that and said, we really don't like the way the tank system works. They might be full 1 minute and empty the next, and they've got no visibility on, you know, discrimination halfway through the tank's use or anything like that. So this is their water tanks. So I suggested maybe we put in a tank module and some sensors into the tank so we can integrate that through the Cymarine system as well. So that's one of the really good things about Cymarine, is that it is expandable and it's fairly simple to expand that. You add a module, you add the wiring for that module, you add the relevant inputs to that module, and then you can program that into the screen so that you get usability and functionality from that. So now they've got tank monitoring, solar, DC-DC, all the things. So we've put everything under the two seats. As I said, they had half the system under the bed previously. So you see the projector unit up the front there. We've taken everything away from that projector unit. We've not left anything with that. Couple of reasons for that, but mainly that now just does DC distribution. So all your lights and your pump and all that sort of stuff still with the projector. They had up here originally was the main projector screen. I've moved that to over here now, into the overhead cupboard over here, and I've put our Cymarine and inverter controller up here in the overhead position next to the radio. So we have all of our normal functionality for battery monitoring, load monitoring. We have tanks which I haven't quite calibrated yet, but you can see you'll have the front, middle and rear tanks. This van has 3 tanks, 3 water tanks, not 1, not 2 and a grey. They've got 3 85 litre water tanks. Cabinet temp for inside the charger cabinet, and overall battery monitoring. So once again, I've put the system, the items that you need to use on a daily perspective into a very functional, very usable space. So it's at head height, hand height, eye level. Don't have to bend over underneath the cupboard to find the inverter control or the Cymarine screen. Everything's in the overhead cupboard. So this one, as I say, is a very nice system. We got 560 amp hour battery down there, so two 280s, which has been transited through to the other seat. So now they've got more usable space under the bed. So we've obviously taken away space under the seat, which is less usable. We've put usable space under the bed now, so they only had a very, very small amount of space under their bed to store things because the batteries were massive and the inverter was in there and all sorts of stuff was going on. So now we've put everything consolidated on this seat and given them the storage under the bed. So if you have any questions in regards to this, please don't hesitate to get in touch on our social media, Outtech Off Grid on both Facebook and Instagram. Otherwise, through the website outtech.com.au. Cheers, guys.